Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the 6th masterclass provided to you by Women for Cyber in the framework of its masterclass with before proceeding with today's guest, a small introduction from our side. My name is Nina Hashwatan, and I'm here today with my colleagues Nina Olesen and Saskia Brugman, and together with our SecGen, Luigi Rebuffi, we are the operational team behind the Women for Cyber Foundation. So Women for Cyber, what is it? It's an initiative launched by the European Cybersecurity Organization to help fill the gap of cybersecurity professionals in Europe by boosting the participation of girls and women in cybersecurity professions. Through our actions and activities, we encourage the skilling, upskilling, and reskilling of both junior and senior professionals. Our comprehensive mission covers a wide range of activities going from community building, awareness, encouraging in-company trainings, courses, and also reaching out to the national and European political levels. We have an all-inclusive approach, which is reflected in our constant work with both women and men from all sectors, public, private, and academic. The Women for Cyber Foundation is the entity that supports our activities with a decision-making body and the Women for Cyber Council, which is an ad hoc advisory body providing strategic recommendations to the decision-making body on the activities of the foundation. Now, this leads me to introduce you to Domitilla Benigni, who is a member of the Women for Cyber Council. But in her day jobs, Domitilla is CEO and COO of Elettronica, which is, by the way, a 70-year-old company, being a European leader in the production of electronic defense equipment. Domitilla is also the president of CypherGate, which provides governments with software and hardware solutions to support the full cycle of intelligence and to succeed in cyber operations through the use of the electromagnetic spectrum communications operating systems and wired networks. As a great supporter of gender inclusion in cybersecurity, Domitilla has been supporting Women for Cyber from the very beginning, as she is also one of the founding members of our initiative, and among the most active ones, by the way. She was the first council member to offer a full scholarship to two university under the Women for Cyber umbrella to encourage more girls towards cyber-oriented education. More recently, as the tireless person that she is, Domitilla has been actively involved in the creation of one of our national chapters, Women for Cyber Italy. We are expecting the launch in the short term, so keep your eyes and ears open on this. So today, Domitilla will be discussing about the role of women in strategic autonomy and tech sovereignty, which are really at the forefront of the priorities of the European Union currently. And she's ready to answer any questions you might have on her personal and professional experience. What an opportunity, honestly. And prepare your questions because I will certainly do. Now, I'd like to highlight a few small rules to ensure that this masterclass goes as smoothly as possible. Please make sure that you are muted to avoid any background noises. Once Domitilla is done with her initial comments, we will open the floor for the Q&A session for an interactive exchange with the participants. If you have questions, please raise your hand through the available button and wait until Saskia or I invite you to speak, then you can unmute yourself. Also, don't hesitate to use the chat as well, though we do encourage a live exchange. And now, without further ado, I wish you all a wonderful and educational session. Domitilla, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Nina, and thank you for this introduction. And I'm very honored today to give this Women for Cyber Masterclass. Of course, thank you very much to Luigi Rebuffi and to the entire Women for Cyber community for organizing this event that, in my opinion, is a precious forum for discussion to enhance really the participation in the STEM and cybersecurity activity for the women. So as you said, Nina, I am the CEO and the COO of Elettronica, one of the main leading company in electronic warfare. And I'm also the president of Cyphergate, that is a company listed in the Italian AIM stock market, and of course part of Elettronica Group. The company offers cyber security and cyber intelligence and warfare solution. And of course, I'm also the main investor in the Elettronica Group. So to come closer to this masterclass, I can tell you that the cybersecurity field became important to Elettronica when 5 years ago, Elettronica has the intuition that the growth of the cyberspace was representing a new operational domain. And so in my reflecting my role, so working both in the defense and in the cybersecurity, allow me to talk to you today through this overview of strategic autonomy from an industrial point of view. So from what I want to highlight in this overview today, and from my it's really my personal and professional experience. So it's not a discussion with you about the European formal policies. It's not my role. I would like only to share my thoughts on the role of this strategic autonomy in Europe from an industrial point of view. Because strategic autonomy is become a really universal concept, starting from the European ambition in foreign politics, but also with a big impact on the security and defense sector, in the sense that technology, of course, covering also digital and cybersecurity dimension, these are affecting all the major decisions currently taken in the Europe level, and of course reflect both in the public and in the private and public spheres. So in this masterclass, I will use some slides. I'd like to touch different interrelated topics, from the European strategic autonomy to the technology sovereignty, and of course to the most important, in my view, digital and cybersecurity, correlated to the skills needed to have this autonomy, and of course, last but not least, and very important for the role that I have in the Women for Cyber, the role of the women in this picture. So, of course, I like also to answer about some question during this speech. First one, how is the industry affected by this mission for the European strategic autonomy? And what does this technological sovereignty mean for defense, security, and cyber industries? And as I said, can we consider those skills part of the technology sovereignty? And how do the women come into the picture? Which is the role of the women, or what could they bring into this model? Let's start from European, let me say, historical background. You will see many pillars about the European strategic autonomy, but this is a concept already still under construction. We will see some of them later, but talking about really the strategic sense of this European strategic autonomy. Why is so strategic? Because Europe is autonomous. It lives by its laws, its rules, norms, values, and so we have to have in mind that Europe should be autonomous and prepare to act alone, avoiding interdependencies from other countries and from the outside world. Also, Europe still needs to operate within a multilateral system because it includes various partners, United Nations, United States, NATO, and some other organizations. So the real drive for autonomy for Europe has, of course, an internal dimension, but also an external dimension because of this interconnection world. So what is the area main impact by this strategic autonomy? We saw that, of course, the autonomy is established itself as a key concept in guiding the European ambitions, because we have to play a global role in the international chessboard. And of course, it's related also to geopolitical dynamics. And many areas are affected, for sure, the security and defense, for sure, geopolitical framework, but also, and very important for me because I am an entrepreneur, the industrial base, the development of the industry. So many concepts are beside this industrial base, the technological sovereignty, digital and cybersecurity. So going to, let me say, to maybe the last definition of the strategic autonomy that is inside the European Commission. They say many different factors like economical crisis, the global competition, the climate change, but of course also the COVID-19 pandemic. All these factors have underlined the importance for Europe and to the world to be better prepared and to be resilient to these systemic shocks. European strategic autonomy must be reinforced. We read in this slide that, of course, Europe's strategic autonomy is about reducing dependency on others for things we need the most. And you see critical materials, food, infrastructure, but security and all the strategic areas. So this definition make clear that the industry is called to play a key role in this process to realize the strategic autonomy of the Europe. And in my view, all this sense of strategic autonomy for Europe, of course, are also applicable in every national level and industrial level, because each stakeholders in the industry needs to learn and to understand how to contribute to this autonomy now, but most important, how to maintain this autonomy in the future. And we cannot neglect, nor industry, nor business can neglect this concept, because we have to understand, we have to transform our thought about strategic autonomy, because this concept will define the scenario of the future. And in my experience as a CEO of an industry, I think that we have to support this autonomy. We have to make some choices. We have to do the right choice to be essential to guarantee this target, and of course to work to become leading industries in the Europe. This is also to point some in my language a recipe for doing this. How can an industry could work at this level, could have this view, this strategic view. Of course, strategic vision, forward-looking. So each time to look after, so to have this long-term vision, as well as the ability and the readiness to cooperate with other partners, because if we want to excel in the Europe, we have to cooperate with other industry, with other partners. And of course, attention to the supply chain, because we have to avoid over dependencies from third parties. So this also was something that we follow years ago when we decided to establish a CypherGate, the subsidiary focus in the cyber domain. And this decision to create this NewCo has been taken in the name of this of those three ingredients. Of course, the company was based on this attitude for us to anticipate the future threats, and of course to manage the state-of-the-art technologies. We wanted to grow in the cyber domain, and we wanted to represent the best industry in the cyberspace, and we decided to step in this cyber domain to guarantee the cyber resilient for digital platform and for the system. In fact, from the foundation of the company in 2016, CypherGate has been operational with only one round of member financing in 2017, and the rest we all self-financing from active contractors on services. CypherGate started focusing on development of its own proprietary software solution. This was one of the, let me say, strategic pillar. We found CypherGate with this mission. We wanted to be independent from other companies, especially in the software domain. And this is still making the difference in the market because we have proprietary software solution. And this allows me to go and to pass to this concept of the technological sovereignty. Why is so important to be the number one and to really create something resilient. You see sentences of Ursula von der Leyen that states it's not too late for Europe to achieve technological sovereignty in some critical technologies areas. Yes, but Europe needs to do something more because we have to reduce those dependencies on third countries. We have to reinforce the own strategic technological capability. We also have to decide which technologies are really important for this sovereignty, which technologies must be preserved and to invest in for the future. And very important, where combined support from different European programs and instruments can address some challenges, because technology, if you want to have the sovereignty in technology, you must invest a lot of money. So by which programs we have to develop and to guarantee this technology? Of course, the industry level, if we decide that this factor, so if we define that strategic autonomy is the ability to act independently, and so technology sovereignty is the way to reach the best level of performances for a company, we have to, let me say, to choose which are the factors that, of course, lead to have the best product, because technology catalog, let me say, is so wide. Industry cannot invest in all the technology base, so we have really to choose which one could be the best factor for the future, and how can the industry, or can the effort made by the industry could help the sovereignty support. Therefore, the importance of knowing this factor, because technology is not only technologies. Technologies are also process, are also skills, and we have to maintain all these importance values, and we have to develop in them, because we have to ensure the continuity of the excellence. We have also to underline and to understand which will be the future emerging and disruptive technologies, the new technologies. Of course, I think in my personal and in my professional life that cyber technologies have these characteristics, have these long-term evolution in the future. So another, let me say, another recipe, this made from Elettronica, not for Cypher, in Cypher game. Strategic autonomy in Elettronica. What does it mean? Of course, every year we have to identify, monitor, and preserve the dominant technology, the technology that ensure the very core and specific performances of the product. We have a strong focus on investment in research and development and innovation, because we have to full control and mastering all these technologies. And of course, we have to choose and to invest in the emerging and disruptive technologies, because these new technologies might make current technologies obsolete one day in the near future. So we have to preserve the current technology, but we have immediately to invest in the disruptive one, in the emerging one. This technology, the emerging and disruptive technology, this allow us to be ready to anticipate the future sovereign technologies, because those will be the base of the new capabilities, and only this will guarantee the future European strategic autonomy. You see the list. Of course, my list is focused on my experience, but you will see the list is wide. So these technologies are applicable not only in the military field. It's a wide range of technologies, and of course we have to include maybe the most famous one, the artificial intelligence, but also digital technologies or photonics or quantum technologies. So these technology have the potential boost to let the Europe to let grow the Europe in a competitive arena and to add some value in many sectors. So these technologies have a high potential impact in civil, in defense, in space sector. So must be really managed and of course invested in. What we do in Elettronica. So I'm mixing my personal experience with some very broad concept. As I said, Europe must become more and more autonomous in ensuring the access to these critical technologies, to ensure in the sense that without depending from third providers outside the Europe. So I don't want to be misunderstood. This is not protectionism. Is only that technology sovereignty is linked with autonomous strategy. So to be resilient and to be independent, this is the only way. We have this chance now to invest in strategic technologies and in Elettronica, in my company, we have to maintain this technology asset. Every year we invest, is not a secret because it's in our oh my God, in our balance. So we invest 13 million euros every year exactly to research, to manage, to develop these new technologies. And of course, year by year, we continue and increase this amount of money because the availability of proprietary sovereign technologies allow us to be, let me say, the essential partner also in the main European defense consortia. So when I sit in a European defense consortia and I have to collaborate with the other defense industry, like French one, UK one, Spanish, German one, I have to bring this value, these key drivers. So technology is the only way for me to guarantee to my company this development, the development of the company. And of course, also in Cyphergate, so it's the same because, as I said, also Cyphergate has this imprinting of niche, but with the state-of-the-art technology. So also in Cyphergate, we have to ensure all this technological sovereignty aspect. And this choice have been translated and reflected in the absolute uniqueness of Cyphergate in the Italian landscape, but we are very competitive also in Europe with this recipe. In Cyphergate, we use at least three main points, three main value. As I say, proprietary software products, business development plan targeting both governmental and corporate markets, and differentiation in the market segment, because we have the cybersecurity business line, we have the intelligence, and we have the lawful interception. So what can be focused on the digital sovereignty? So one of the main, in my view, technological important is the digital one. So Europe digital sovereignty refers to the Europe's ability to act independently. Another definition about digital sovereignty is the power of the country to independently define and enforce laws and regulation dealing with digital issues. So we have some interesting example in the Europe. The program Gaia X, where CipherGate is a part of this program, is a project for the next generation European cloud for infrastructure and services. I think this is the first example of technological sovereignty, of digital sovereignty, because Europe decide to have this independent cloud, and this is very important. With CipherGate, we participate. So, of course, however, we have a still strong presence in the digital industrial application, and Europe is increasingly depends on other regions for its key digital capacity, such digital components, computing system. But I see that Europe is evolving, is progressing in many different areas. Europe is investing in data analytics, in artificial intelligence, in faster networks like the 5G, and in computing and data processing. So the increased demand for security and trust is a fundamental prerequisite. And we have many opportunities for European industries to reinforce and to regain the leadership across the digital supply chain. I think industry should reinforce and recover the European leadership in these key enabling digital technologies, because we have to ensure Europe's cyber resilience. The best way to do this is through a European solution and competence development with other partners. There is no choice. Development in the digital technologies domain are crucial as global connectivity, and we have to go inside every aspect of the society, economic, politics. But of course, these digital development rise up new vulnerabilities. And so we let me say, we arrive at the concept of cybersecurity and cyber defense, because hybrid warfare, cyber attacks, and disinformation campaign are increasing. So critical infrastructure necessary for maintaining the continuity of crucial economic process and need to be protected. We have a lot of adversarial action targeting the critical infrastructure, and this may have a terrible consequence. So the protection is an absolute priority for each country. And this situation calls us to reinforce the cybersecurity and the cyber defense products and the capability. The Europeans' ability to defend and promote its interest as well as its credibility as a foreign policy actor will largely be a function of its directed cyber resilient. So more and more the system will be connected, smart cities, Industry 4.0, autonomous vehicle. So the more they are connected, the more the vulnerability are very crucial and critical. And this is a risk from one side, but an opportunity for industry. And of course, the pandemic situation has shown us that this evidence is tangible, is a daily evidence. I think that we have a urgent needs of cybersecurity. We have a urgent needs to protect the resilience of Europe's critical infrastructure. And of course, the Europe needs to be the forefront of the technology and digital development. Europe must step up the competitiveness of the technology sector, and they have to mitigate the factors of this strategic autonomy. With Cyphergate, we focus the product line in some selected proprietary product. We have this innovative and ambitious and long-term vision, but also we use a flexible approach because we have to adjust our ability to be on the market. We have to adjust because the environment, the changing of the environment are so fast. So I can say monthly changing. So the Cyphergate is one of the few Italian stocks that can offer this exposure to the mega trends because we have a flexible approach. As you know, in Italy, but also in Europe, there are a few champions in the software companies. Of course, United States or Israel are other dimension, but therefore Europe continues to be the huge market of foreign IT technology instead of produce its own proprietary technologies. And so we decided to make a difference with this company because we choose another commercial strategy. We base our commercial strategy on our in-house products. We produce this product in a sensitive market like the one in cybersecurity and decision intelligence, but we guarantee to the final clients that all the products are developed and it's managed by ourselves with no other third part. And I think this is also a way to gain the customer's trust. It's a factor, in our view, it's a winning factor for a competitive advantage. And so Cyphergate, it's let me say, it's a company that is having a lot of success. And another crucial, important ingredient is the skills. As I said at the beginning, to be at some technology level, to have dominant technologies, we have also to have the best skills. So one of the key factors to guarantee the excellence of the product are skills. We consider skills as the same of the sovereign technology by definition. It's crucial to invest, to maintain, to protect, and to develop also the skills. And as a result of this fast technology evolution, a continuous investment in learning will be necessary because technology are changing, and the skills to master this technology must change as well as the technologies. In particular, with regard to the digital and cybersecurity skills, the level of the strategic autonomy that Europe wants to reach in order to regain this sovereignty, not only in the Europe, can be achieved only with the trained and high qualified professionals. We want to invest in domestic resources. We want to have innovation. We want to have research. We want to master the strategic asset in terms of skills, of course, women and men, we want to preserve them for build and maintain these sovereign technologies in Europe. In my view, many challenges in the cybersecurity industry must be found, must be managing, because we have to also retain the right people with the right competence, and we must let them grow with the company. In Elettronica, we have a very serious and important program for develop our colleagues, our resource. We were awarded at the best workplace in 2020 because we use some simple issues. We want to create a nice environment where the people can express themselves the best. For skill, as I said, we want to invest in people skill. We want to have an approach of education and training. We want to focus on the work-life balance. Our employees' education and training is a key priority for us, and we have supplementary investment in the inclusion and promotion of women, because I think that we understood that a company can benefit from the complementary ensured by the coexisting of different people with different set of skills and talent. And we are in continuous process of creating the right working environment, to removing all barriers that could prevent the full expression of the talents. And wherever they come, in this effort, we also are committed to removing the gender-based barriers. And we want to have the precious contribution of the women, because I really think that women can bring some different, not competence, but different skills, different ability. The women must be included like strategically essential for a company, for growth and for the growth of the company. And we have to valorize the skills and the woman, because they really can lead to open the new future scenarios. we have no doubt that, of course, women inclusion and empowerment is paramount importance, but starting from the scholar system, because the skills should be cultivated at the early stage. We have to encourage the women toward the STEM disciplines. I think that this challenge is big because we are far away from this percentage of the women in the STEM discipline, but maybe only with the common effort in Europe, maybe by European policy, by the help of European, national, and regional governments, and we have to underline that the women could bring different skills. We are plenty of creativity, intuition, resilience, perseverance, interpersonal skills. So diplomacy, languages, all these are soft skills that women could bring and to help this transition and to reach this strategic autonomy. So, of course, also in the cybersecurity environment, we want to reinforce the participation of the woman in the defense sector. We want to stimulate innovation through the diversity. We want to bring a different point of view, a different approach, also in this technical environment, technical domain. And in my view, a better involvement of the women needs to be promoted, because otherwise we still perceive this technology field only for men gender, and this is not true. And this is one of my engagement now with Women for Cyber's mission. We have these objectives and this mission to give to the women a tangible sign, testimonial commitment. We want to demonstrate that also the tech and cybersecurity industry are always looking for women. We want to enlarge the women person, the women in the technological company. In the STEM discipline, the women we know are still very few. Also in the European level, I know that the percentage are still very low. So we could push the women's access to the STEM training, to their integration into the labor market, and we want to have them like a key element in these challenges. We need this talent. We need this different talent. I think that promoting, educating, training for women, for girls, we will have better skills and resources available on the job market. These skills are like building blocks, no? Building blocks to build, to construct a new European know-how. They represent a strategic asset, and that shall be preserved because we want to build and to maintain the technology sovereignty. So I think that to summarize my very long my very long speech, we start from this concept, European strategic autonomy. The concept is an evolving concept, no? From its first announcement until now, and pass through this geopolitical dynamics. But nowadays, this requests an industry support. This means that a great effort on this sovereignty in technology must become from the industry, and with the specific choice of the industry, above all in digital and cyber technologies, and of course in the related skills. So we have to remove these gender barriers. We must include all the talents, the potential of this request to remove all the gender barriers in the work life and in the educational process, must address some specific investment in the STEM discipline. And at the end, to close, I think that the process should be supported by the European investment and initiative on the skills for women. I think this is essential to reach the target of the strategic autonomy. Thank you very much. Too long, maybe. Sorry.
It was perfect, really. Thank you so much, Domitilla. Wow, such an interesting presentation. And honestly, I didn't even see the time pass, really. I think, well, yeah, indeed, like women are at the forefront of the battle, right? Both on cybersecurity and also helping and supporting the digital autonomy and technological sovereignty. Such very important topics. Let's now open up for the Q&A session. I will ask now the floor. If you have any questions, please raise your hand or write them in the chat, and we will anyway invite you to speak out. So while our participants are gathering their thoughts, maybe I'll step in with my own first question. I promise there's nothing tricky in there. It's just a little bit general, but you are such a wonderful leader, and you know, like CEO, president of these amazing companies, you know, leading European technology and cybersecurity. Can you please tell us in a few words about your career path? How, what is your evolution? How can we also become like you?
I don't know if I want to help you to do my same career, but so of course, I became from a engineering family, because the company that I now the CEO, it becomes from my family. So it was founded in 1951 from my great uncle that was an electronical engineer, and then passed to my father that is still the president, electronical engineer as well. And after my degrees, my finish of high school, of course, I choose to start electronical engineering in the university in Rome. And my father told me, "Are you sure? Are you sure that you want to, let me say, close yourself for 5 or more years in your room to study?" And I say yes. I say yes, I will try. I will try, because let me say this, the company and the skills necessary to work in the company was in my DNA. For all my life, I saw the company as my target. And so I started studying electronical engineering in Rome. Of course, wasn't so easy. I have to admit that was a difficult path, but very interesting. And then I graduate myself. And of course, the next days after my graduation, I started working in the company. And it was very useful because my father told me, you will start from the beginning. So I will start from the real, let me say, bottom of the competence in the company. I started doing the engineer. I was a project leader in a very small project. And then I grow through the company, and I work for maybe 4 or 5 years as a real engineer. And then I became a program manager, so a little bit manage a small group of people in a very difficult program. Was a program with a customer outside Europe, so it was not easy for me as a woman to work with them. And then I do all the path in the company. And I was very, very lucky because all the people that I work with didn't work with me like I am the daughter of the president. So they really work with me in a very normal way, in a very transparent way. So I learn from them a lot. And then I grow up, and at the beginning of this year, I became the CEO, but I were for 10 years the general manager, so the CEO. Is not easy. It's still a very, let me say, man word, but I have a lot of great success, and so I'm very happy. Really, I'm very happy because the company, I feel the company maybe more than my family, but it's not a small company because we are 800. But the human the humanity and the connection we have one from each other are very, very transparent, very, very trustful, and so it's a nice place to work. And I don't told this only because it's my company.
That sounds amazing. So I'm guessing. Well, no, I'm not guessing. I'm asking. Have you been in such situations where you felt that gender had an impact in the company mentality when growing and building your career?
I'm very honest. Yes, sometimes yes. Maybe not a lot inside the company, but outside the company. Because it's true that my world is a military one. So it's let me say, it's very, very often I am the only woman in the room with all the customer, all men, all military men. So I'm the only woman. But now, maybe because it's more than 20 years that I work in this field, of course, maybe the Italian customer knows me very well. So now I'm very well accepted in this world. Maybe at the beginning they work at me like, oh, who is this woman? Maybe the secretary, something like this.
Yeah. Yeah,
so this is why we have to fight for change this attitude.
Yeah,
because the more we are, and the more we are not the only one in one room. So this is why I really push for the young ladies to start working in this field, because at least it's very nice. It's very nice for one like me that passion for technology. It's very nice. That's it.
Yeah, it's also a great encouragement for students to choose STEM education, because as you are the example, you know, choosing STEM education and becoming an engineer doesn't mean that you cannot have any other career choices later on when growing, of course. That's very eye-opening. Thank you very much, Domitilla. I see that we have a raised hand. Valérie, would you like to go forward?
Yeah, thank you. I would like, thank you for the presentation. Also, I missed a part of it because I had this meeting. And in relation to what you just said, I wanted to ask you, when you first had to meet with all these guys, do you think as a woman you had to, they doubted your credibility, that because you were a woman, did you have more effort in order to prove that you were at the right position and you had the right, experience and qualification to be where you were and to be more credible? Do you think that if you had been a man, you would not have to have more effort in order to convince that you are able, that you are the right position? So that was my question. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, sometimes yes, but this was only the first impression. I mean, sometimes I have to prove my competence, let me say, more than if I were a man. But in only at the beginning, in a very short time, I think that men or women, for sure, when they recognize that you are well prepared and you have the right competence to be sit at the same table, as soon as they recognize this, the work is really nice and very fluid. But maybe for the first, let me say, half an hour, yes, they look at you a little bit with some doubt. But as soon as you prove yourself, when you put your competence on the table, the mood change a lot. But this is why I think that let me say, when I was a student, so when I were in the university, in electronical engineer at Rome, at least, we were very, very few. We were minus 10% of the students were female. I think this number now is increasing. So I think that when a woman can really demonstrate that the competence she has is really well-founded, we have incredible talent. Just an example, in Elettronica, it's real, I have low percentage of women. I have at least 15% of all the people women, but my chief scientist is a woman. And she's a woman because she's brilliant. She's the chief scientist because she's brilliant, not else. The chief of my quality and process improvement, it's a woman. So when we have in front of us I think, my opinion, when we have a woman in front of us, well motivated, very well prepared, and tough enough to go beyond this initial doubt, I think women are really, really strong, really want to arrive to some targets. So I hope to have more and more women in my staff, because I work very well with them, and I notice that when a woman is in one group, now we work a lot in a matricial mode, so we have we work for international programs where, of course, we have a group of people, like 20 persons that work together for a program, and they have to work with another group, French people, German people, or British people, and the women are in the table. The interconnection, the interpersonal relationship for me are more fluid, more as I called intelligence emotional. I mean, sometimes women are less emotional than a man. I don't know if I explain my concept. So sometimes men fight together, also working. It's very rare that women fight during the work. So it's like women sometimes put more equilibrium. It's the right word. I don't know, equilibrium in a group. So I push for women working in the company, whatever they do.
Thank you, Domitilla. I do hope that soon there will be more women working, and they won't have to prove themselves for being treated equally.
Yeah.
I see that there is another hand raised by Hannah. Hannah, do you want to ask your questions?
Yeah, thank you. Good afternoon from Austria, from Vienna. I'm working for the government on cybersecurity, and enjoyed now hearing from you what how women can have an impact on the challenges in cybersecurity. From my point of view, cybersecurity is always a change management process on the one hand, and needs to be tackled by a whole of society approach. Let me ask one question, maybe to sum it up again, your presentation. What would be the two main recommendations to policymakers? How can we support companies in increasing the share of women in cybersecurity? Thank you.
Thank you, Anna. I think that Europe will have a strategic impact, because let me summarize. To bring this technology autonomous, that in my view is one of the strategic thinking that could raise up the importance of the Europe. Of course, we need the women and men. Of course, we need all the skills we could have. But in particular, if we can find, I don't know, maybe some programs to improve the women in the STEM discipline, some programs to train the ladies in these digital technologies, or some development program that will include women. I think that with this vehicle we can bring more and more women in the cybersecurity field, because it is not my analysis, but we all know that in the next, I don't remember exactly, 5 years, we will need hundreds of people with competence in STEM technologies, hundreds of people. And I don't know if our university are prepared to train all these people. So to add more effort, to add more course to the university side, because one other peculiar of cyber is that not always a cyber a person who knows about cyber comes from university. Many times we have younger people that are brilliant in cyber domain, so we don't have to wait for a person that will end up from a university, but also in the higher school we can have fantastic skills in digital and cyber. We all know that, let me say, that the millennials will have now 20 years. So they are not the young people millennials. They are ready to work. So maybe Europe could improve. I don't know with which formula, but could improve courses, programs, training programs, educational, not only for university, maybe with other formula that could improve all the people, the competence of the young people in this discipline, and of course could also underline some women aspect, some women training aspect. But it's just let me say some of my solution.
Great, thank you so much, Domitilla. I hope, Anna, that it answered your question. Our secretary Luigi has a question, actually. So, Luigi.
Thank you. Well, it's a comment. I don't know how much question is. First, I would say to Domitilla that I appreciate the style the way you manage this masterclass, because it's a bit different, you know. In the past, we had women telling them their career, how difficult it was, how challenging it is for a woman to enter in this. You said 10%. At my time, at engineering was less than 5% women. So you were already better than you. And I can tell you, as a man, we suffered a lot because we like to see nice women, of course. But first of all, also, I would say, as a man, we appreciate very much intelligent women which can respond, as you say when you enter, women which you have to discuss, and you have different point of view. I really always have appreciated this thing. And makes part of the beauty of being in a community, let me say. But what I would say, so I appreciate it also because the fact that you gave this speech, this presentation, as I was going to say as a man, sorry, as an expert. That should be the right word, as an expert, okay? But as I said, as a man, because usually we have always men saying these things in the panels, in the conferences. All the time we have them saying this and that, and we miss somehow women, competent women, or simply women with a certain weight or responsibility to present these things, because it's otherwise, indeed, people can think it's only men can think that way, which is, I mean, it's a boutade, I would say in French. It's too much, but that's the point. At the end, people could say, only think that only men can think that way, which is maybe not appropriate. So it's good to hear also from someone which is not a man, to present these topics, the issues about autonomy, about sovereignty, and so on. And then I would like to come to another comment the fact that all these issues about autonomy, sovereignty, but also education and participation of women, you know, at the end, we are trying also with your help and people which are here on the screen to bring this message across Europe. But first of all this message, all these issues are coming from national level because education is a national prerogative. So when we push also with your help, and now we hope we created, we're going to create a Women for Cyber Italy chapter in Italy, but this goes to national education, how Italy will be able to move in that direction on digital, on cyber, and so on. And this is the same true on how Italy wants to support the Italian administration, the government, the ministry with which you are speaking so frequently, to support this cybersecurity, which maybe today, you know, the buzzword is artificial intelligence, is cloud, 5G, and so on. And cybersecurity has become a little bit the obvious issues, and I don't want to say forgotten, but somehow it should repeat it with it. Without cybersecurity, you could have all the 5G, you can have all the cloud and so on, but without security in this domain, you could run in big trouble. And this, I think, also at national level, with the national administration, they are maturing, but very slowly. So I really think that with your help, with the help of everybody, men and women, but maybe women because you have a special, certain sensitiveness, let me say, in certain topics, we could really go further, and especially at national level. This for me is very, very important. So it was more a comment than a question.
Luigi, I must agree with you. I'm sorry, you are a man, but I must agree with you that, of course, we have to start from the national level. But I think that every country have its own problem. And so maybe try also to push and to bring this problem at the European level, maybe could raise more attention, let me say. Because if we still focus in our country, I think we miss the long-term vision, because it's without doubt that our future, I'm talking about Italy, our future is the Europe. We cannot remain close in Italy. We have to move ourselves into a Europe arena. So for sure, I would be more than happy that also in Italy we'll have some increasing course in cybersecurity, in digital, in software, and something and some small things that we are doing in Elettronica with the Lewis University or with others. But if we don't go out from the country dimension, and maybe we try to push this problem in a wider dimension, maybe, let me say, no, it's like when you have a very small problem. If you think alone about your problem, you don't find the solution. If you enlarge the people that could think about this, and maybe Women for Cyber is one of these chapter, one of these incubator, maybe we can do something together. Maybe Italy could join another country to have exchange of industry course. I don't know. I'm not working in the field of educational, but just thinking. I always think with my experience. When my company entered, for example, in the Cooperative Defense European program, we learn a lot, we grow, we enlarge our vision, and we exchange problems, and we grow. We grow in competence, but also in managing problems. So this is why maybe I'd like to bring this problem in this arena that is not only Italian, no? It's international, because maybe we can share some solution. We can find some ideas, and why not?
Domitilla,
We have
just
to try. We have
one
to try.
word, because I see interesting comments coming up. Just one word. You know, when it comes to Europe, I think we will maybe try to bring you to Brussels when the COVID is over, because we need a leader, CEO of companies. No joke. Very, very seriously. We need CEOs from important companies to bring certain messages to the Commission and so on, because the Commissioner want to see the leader, the European leader, to tell them certain things, you know, and certain very, very big companies, maybe they are more interested in talking about aerospace or other thing, but we need somebody who really talks about cybersecurity and certain topics, including women. So I think that you could really be, and I must say very, very seriously, you could really be one of the spokesperson about cybersecurity at high level in Brussels to bring this European view. And I stop here.
Thank you. I will be honored. But Luigi, just to add something that it's now it is now that I'm now focused in. You know that now we are very close to open this Italian chapter in Women for Cyber. And with my colleagues, Rita, Selene, and Anna, Alessandra, we are trying also to, let me say, to make a list of other Italian women that could join us to really make a big group, and not only in cybersecurity, but also in some digital competence, no? Because the world are very close. And Luigi, there are many women, maybe not famous, but many technical women, intelligence women, a lot of people. But you have to search in university, in companies, in other places. We are making a list, and there are not 10.
I know. You know, I think when we met last time in Rome, I told you that when you will build it up and you have visibility, and really we have to go to give maximum visibility, it will not be a wave, it will be a tsunami.
I agree with you.
Sorry, thank you. I'm just intervening. We only have 2 minutes left, and I wish we had the time to give the floor to Leah, Valerie, and Selene, who are having a very interesting debate in the chat about the women, female representation in universities and in the industry, and having trouble finding talented people, talented women in cybersecurity. Yes, you want to say something, Valerie?
Yes, I'm just remembering a campaign. You know, these booklets that you receive by the post for Christmas for the children, you know. And I remember, I don't know which, it was probably like a couple of years ago, or even maybe more. And I remember I'm not so sure which like toy company did that. I mean, shop maybe, not toy producers industry, but they designed a leaflet with toys. But instead of putting, you know, like the toys for the boys and the toys for the girls separately, they put, you know, like boys with dolls and girls with trucks. And I think we should start like this, you know, to break the stereotypes, because this also is not very good, you know, when children are raised, and to have these models that the girl should be with the mother in the kitchen and the boy should be with the father fixing the car, for instance. This should be changed from this age, because this is where you build, you know, information, you build the brain of the child, and it doesn't open up for possibilities of doing different things if you keep, you know, to maintaining these models at this age. And I think this is a very important thing, you know, to broaden the scope of the minds of these children, so that they know that they don't necessarily, because they are a boy or because they are a girl, have to go such and such a way. So this is just, you know, something I wanted to share.
Yeah, thank you, Valerie. Indeed, it's very important to mold the young minds, but not in the wrong way. Of course, that's very important. Well, since Valerie got a small speaking slot, Leah, would you like also to share live your thoughts very quickly?
Yes, I can do that. So I'm not very stressed or prepared for this occasion, but so I'm working for a small consulting company in IT, and I'm actually a studied political scientist and international law person. So I don't come from the technological background either. And we are having so much trouble to reach out to women that we can recruit also in universities. So before Corona, we were used to go to universities and give talks on certain subjects. And there were maybe like 1 or 2 girls in each class. As you already pointed out before, like the percentage is so low. And those that are in those engineering or technological classes, they usually want to focus on, I don't know, design element or marketing or whatever, and not on the IT security fact. And I personally went to school in both Germany and Denmark, and I've also experienced that it's very depending on your country and on the system where you grew up, because the Scandinavian one is much better in promoting equality. So that's also something that needs to be looked at when looking at it from the whole European perspective.
Thank you so much, Leah. Well, I think the rest of Europe has much to learn from Scandinavia on many topics. But in any case, I apologize, we are 2 minutes behind schedule. So Domitilla, once again, thank you so much for your time and for this very interesting presentation. I am sure our participants have learned a lot today, and in any case, Women for Cyber is happy to take any questions you might have down the line. Just send an email at hello@womenforcyber.eu. And we'll be happy to forward your questions to Domitilla. And the recording of this masterclass will also be available in the coming weeks. So if your friends or colleagues are interested in it, there is always the chance to listen to the very interesting remarks from Domitilla. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining us today. It has been a very informative session, and stay tuned for the next Women for Cyber masterclass in May. Well, we will have 2 masterclasses in May, but I'm not saying more. So it will be your incentive to follow us on social media. Also, you can check our website and register to our newsletter. Thank you again, and I wish you all a great end of Friday and a great weekend to come. Domitilla, thank you so much again.
Thank you very much to all the Women for Cyber people. Thank you, Nina. Thank you, Luigi. Thank you, everybody. Ciao.
Ciao.
Grazie. Ciao.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Have a nice weekend.
You too. Bye.
Mm.